Hey, what's up, guys? If it's our first time meeting, my name's Conor Ryan. This is my gaming channel. If you're new, consider subscribing. Today, I'll be comparing the mysterious trader and adventurer Bourbon in the Metro games and books. If you don't know the events in which you meet and see the end of Bourbon, they are both different in the different adaptations of Metro in the books and the games. If I was to compare him to someone, though, I'd have to compare him to Han Solo from the Star Wars universe, as he's a very funny, smart, and mysterious character. But Bourbon's even more mysterious in the book version of Metro. If you remember in chapter 2 of the game, in the mission Riga, where you just come off the cart with the two other characters, Eugene, and I can't remember the other man's name. But one of the guys falls off the back after getting attacked by the Nasalises, and then you make it, and they're telling you fall off the caravan, you start running back, and they tell the soldiers not to shoot yet because you're still alive. But when you make it in there, you start wandering through that station after the caravan stops. There is a kid that comes up to you, as far as I remember, and he says if you give him one bullet, he'll show you that this mysterious man wants to talk to you, and he'll show you the way through that station to where this mysterious man is. But if you don't give him the bullet, the kid will get angry, run back to his probably parents or something. They're over by a campfire anyway, across the way of the track. But eventually, when you make it to this mysterious man, he tells you to sit down. He asks you to sit down. He offers you his Kalash, which is his AK, which he says he'll pay you 2 magazines in advance to help him get to Dry Station. He says that he needs to help pay back an old friend of his that's at Dry Station, basically. So he pays you the 2 mags in advance. He says once we get there to Dry Station, he promises he'll give you his Kalash, which is his AK, like I've already mentioned. But Bourbon also says, though, before you leave, about the whole supernatural stuff that goes on in the Metro and through the tunnels that he knows that you're about to go in, because he is a caravaner himself and an adventurer, so he knows all about the underground, basically. But he says that all the supernatural events are bullshit, basically, is what he says. In the book, though, it is a bit different. Artyom encounters Bourbon after hearing sounds in the pipeline. He saves them from the gas, as far as I can remember. He meets him at Prospect Militia Station, basically, is where he meets him in that, instead of meeting him at the Riga Station, I think. I can't remember exactly what it's called in the game. But Bourbon asks Artyom for help to help him get down to the same station, basically, as in the game. At this point, though, Artyom saw it as a chance to get closer to Polis Station. He told Bourbon it would be 2 mags up front, just like in the game. Instead, you tell him Artyom tells him in the book how much to give him, and he asks him for food. Bourbon, though, also pledges his gun, which is his Kalash, also in the book version of Metro, to Artyom. Bourbon says, though, he has a familiar... He is familiar, as far as I remember. He is familiar with the weird phenomenon that happens when you go into the gas. So he says to Artyom, basically, if anything bad happens, or if we all start hallucinating and things go to shit down in the Metro and they start hallucinating and going insane, that Bourbon is used to it and he knows how to help Artyom get out of it. But then he gives Artyom the ammo without Artyom asking how much to pay up front, etc. Back to the game, though, the two make their way towards Market Station. On the way, you find, as far as I remember, there's 3 dead caravanners with a bunch of arrows stuck in their bodies and stuff. But with Bourbon being an adventurer and a caravaner himself, he knows that they're dead, basically, because of bandits. So when you start moving forward, you are greeted by these bandits that he has warned you about. But Bourbon, being the adventurer he is, shows you and teaches you about the traps and how to sneak past the bandit caravan that's up ahead, basically. And he shows you how to disarm the traps they've placed, and how to sneak past the cans that are hanging on ropes. If you've played the game, you'll know what I mean. And then you sneak through, and you can pick up his throwing knife, as far as I remember, and you can throw it at one of the use it to kill the bandits and stuff. But there's also a bunch of bandits out the back as well that you have to try sneak past. But after making it through the metro stations and up through the surface with Bourbon at your side, 2 of you do get separated for a time, though, and you do meet Bourbon again at a checkpoint. and you make it towards Dry Station. But when you make it to Dry Station, Bourbon stashes his gear with Artyom. As far as I remember, he stashes his gear with you when you're inside one of the like pipeline vents, and then he jumps out, and his old friend who he was going to meet has actually been replaced by an old subordinate of his who actually has held a grudge against Bourbon for ages and does not like Bourbon. So basically, at this point, Bourbon is beaten up. He's dragged off towards the subordinate, the guy that holds the grudge against Bourbon, and that's the last you see of him for a while. So then you try to save him with the help from Khan. If you know, don't worry, guys. I'll be making a video on Khan soon enough as well. He has a really interesting lore and backstory behind him as well. So Khan decides to help you. Basically, he snipes a few of the bandits to make it easier for you to sneak in. You know, as you make your way in to Bourbon, he is being interrogated by the subordinate, and but in the chaos that is happening outside with all the bandits getting sniped and people are shooting off guns and stuff. Bourbon, as he sees you come into the room, the interrogation room, pushes the subordinate out of the way to save Artyom's life, basically. And then Bourbon pulls out a revolver and shoots the subordinate straight into the neck. But at the same time this is happening, the bandit, the subordinate, falls backwards, grabs an AK and shoots and pierces Bourbon's abdomen. At this point, though, you are told and supposed to believe that Bourbon is dead at this point in the game, and Khan does come in and tell you like, oh yeah, he's dead, leave him, come on, let's get out of here and stuff. But in Last Light you can hear, I think it's Pavel in Venice is the name of the mission or the part of the game in Last Light. You can hear two bandits, I think it is, on about how there's a new gang that's happening and how Dry Station got overrun, and at that time the only person that made out alive was actually Bourbon. So apparently he is still alive. We might see him in Metro Exodus, who knows. What you guys think? Do you think you'll see him in Metro Exodus? Hopefully. He was really cool, interesting, as I said, mysterious character in the game. But so yeah, apparently he's alive according to these two bandits. But now I'm going to be getting back to the book. That was all to do with the game side of it. But when they head out in the book, just after Artyom beats Bourbon in the book, they start heading out, and Artyom becomes a lot more talkative than usual. But Bourbon starts chanting a very interesting, strange old text. He finishes the chant off with a quote, and I'll quote it now. I've died. There is no more me. Then he drops dead, lifeless, right in front of Artyom, onto the ground. He's dead. Artyom tried to drag his body, though, to one of the nearest metro stations to seek help and try help out Bourbon. But then Khan appears out of nowhere to rescue Artyom and advises Artyom that Bourbon is basically dead. He's lifeless. There's nothing we can do. Artyom was going to wake up the next day as he felt very sad and shaken up by the experience. So he said he'd give Bourbon the proper send off and actually bury him. But Khan reassures him that he has already taken care of it. Artyom searches Bourbon's belongings and notices he was never going to actually pay Artyom. It's believed that after the deed was done and Artyom helped him out, he was probably going to wait for something to break out, like chaos or a gunfight or something, and he was just going to shoot Artyom into the back of the head. So Artyom takes all his belongings. He takes the Kalash, his AK, like I've already said, for basically reassurance or whatever, to be like, this is mine now, this is what he should have given me. But he also finds this mysterious map as well that shows where all the supernatural events occur and stuff like that. That's the last time basically you see Bourbon in the novel. His death is only canon in the novel. In the game, like I said already, it's apparently he's still alive according to these bandits or whatnot. But yeah, I will go through a little bit of facts now, guys, if you don't mind, which I found which are quite actually interesting. In the book side of Metro, Bourbon is not that much older than Artyom. His death is actually never properly explained, what that supernatural event was or how he actually died from it. You never find out really in the book. He didn't have guns in the book at all. actually. He acquired an AK-74U when they went to Market Station, and that's the AK that Artyom takes off him at the end. Whereas in the game, he has a loaded of a shotgun, I think, with a bayonet. He also has the AK, and I think he has a revolver as well. Like I've already said, he was probably just going to shoot Artyom at the end into the back of the head, if, like, say if they were in chased by Nasalises or something like that. He was just going to kill Artyom so he wouldn't have to pay him anything. In the game, he is a lot more sympathetic than he is in the book. If Artyom doesn't have enough gas masks, Bourbon will actually give him some. I think the only other NPC in the game that does this is Miller. I'll also make a video on Miller, guys, don't worry. When the bandit is beating up Bourbon, he actually does the pain sound of the main characters in the Stalker franchise, which I found very, very interesting, because Stalker is another great game. I haven't properly played it. I've seen gameplay of it, and I've watched a bunch of Let's Plays of it, and the game is really, really good. And I found that fact very interesting, because they're both in a post-apocalyptic world as well. An exhibition, which is Vidinka in the books, which is Artyom's home station after he got kicked out of his previous station because it got overrun by rats. There is a man dressed exactly like Bourbon, but he prefers to travel alone or with one other person. And people think that this is most likely the Bourbon that we see in the book, because he's a lot dressed like him, talks like him, stuff like that. But in the mission, this is the last fact I have, guys. In the mission Lost Tunnel, if you shoot at the rats, Bourbon actually makes a joke about Artyom's phobia of rats, which I found quite interesting. Those are all the interesting facts I found on Bourbon in the game. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Like I said, Bourbon is very different in both the book adaptation and the game adaptation of Metro. If you liked the video, consider subscribing if you're new. Comment down below who you want to see next. So yeah, guys, that was it for the video, and see you in exhibition, guys.